being aware of what's going on with your client and what are the things that they're asking questions about, and how can we answer that in a webinar or a Zoom meeting or something that we could record through a video. So, okay, any other thoughts on anything that y'all have learned that you're going to want to put in your tool belt for the business of tomorrow? Any tool that you're taking with you from this time that now you're like, okay, this is going to help me with my business of tomorrow? Okay, awesome. We'll just keep going then. Okay, let's go to page number 112. And it's just a really good basic model. This is always what I love about the Shift book, is it just puts it into like really basic terms, right? That your lead generation model is, number one, that you want to create and maintain an internet presence. And so you need to have tools and content there. So what are the tools that are needed by buyers and sellers? And then what's the content that they want? And I love it. I mean, it's just really simple. Buyers want to search for homes. That's the tool that they want. They want to be able to search the MLS for homes. The content is probably that they want to know, okay, now how do I go about doing that, right? And I would say the simpler, the better, the more graphics, the better, right? Like just think about yourself. What do you actually look at, right? Maybe more videos, the better. And then number two is lead generate for traffic. So online and offline marketing, you've got to get traffic coming into your website. And then the third thing is the capture, connect, cultivate, and close the leads. So how do you create some compelling offers, capture mechanisms, and quick responses? And so first of all, we'll just go to create and maintain the internet presence, so the tools and the content. So here is my biggest aha, even as he brought up some of the websites that are, used and talked about all the time. So I really started thinking about Craigslist and how stinking basic Craigslist is. Like, it is not an impressive website at all. And then I started thinking about Craigslist, yes, but really there's been a great competition in Lubbock with that in a group called Trading Up, and how basic that group is, right? And like how they've almost done what Craigslist did, but just through a Facebook group. Anyways, then I also started thinking about Amazon, and again, so basic. Like, it's not like the prettiest website. As I look at Amazon, it's honestly not the prettiest website, but it's a really easy to search for the content that you want. So I'd love to know, what are your top used websites, and what's kind of your thoughts around what's important on their website, and how do you correlate that back into your business?
This is Jennifer.
Hey.
Good morning. So I use Facebook a lot, and I unapologetically say that Facebook is part of my job. Knowing how Facebook works and the analytics behind Facebook is very important.
Yeah.
I was going to say something too.
Yeah.
So I am actually on that MAPS coaching with the 50 Facebook leads and or 50 sales in 50 weeks or something. And
awesome.
This is my first MAPS coach, essentially, programmer or whatever. And she is just very passionate, kind of like what Jen said, it's a job, she time blocks for 15 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, and then 30 minutes at night, and she makes sure she talks about all of the analytics in Facebook and how to essentially get around and beat the analytics, because a lot of the times you see and people post oh, I posted on Facebook, my friends should all see it, and I think that's what our mentality is. But at the end of the day, only 5 friends are probably seeing it just because of the Facebook algorithm. And so just knowing the Facebook and how to beat that is going to be, I think right now, our greatest reward as far as marketing on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah. Any tips you want to share that they share in there?
Yeah, so one of the ways that she kind of teaches us to beat the Facebook algorithm is to comment on 5 different people's either Facebook wall. If it's their birthday, that will populate them to see your stuff, or go back and like think of a friend that you haven't seen in a while, and I'm sure they've probably posted in the last 2 days, and like it and comment. And that way you're going to start seeing their stuff on your newsfeed, and they're going to start seeing your stuff on their feed. And so if you do that 5 times a day, or not 5 times a day, to 5 people, and then also if you comment in local groups and stuff, that will also get your name out there, and they'll start seeing ads and stuff that you post on Facebook as well.
The article I read says wake up your Facebook before you post something. So like Sam was talking about, you go in and you like a couple of things and you comment a couple of things in a couple of different groups so that your Facebook wakes up and it starts to show, you know, so that maybe you're a little bit of an influencer, air quotes. And then that's when you then post what you were going to post for your content.
Yeah, because I think I see like all realtors on my page, you know, and so now that I'm starting to do that, like wake up my Facebook, essentially, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see nurses, especially nurses right now. Think of a nurse friend that you have and go, I'm sure they've posted about this coronavirus, you know, and so now I'm starting to see theirs and stuff.
I went to about, I think there's 5 of us. I went to 5 of us. We just formed a little pack, and we have a Facebook group that we share ideas and stuff back and forth. And so that, and we know that we post about 10:30 and about 2 each day. So we all make sure that we go, as soon as one of us post, we go like and comment on that post as fast as possible, because the first 8 seconds is the most important of the Facebook post. And then the next 33 seconds are the second most important. So if you can get a heart or a laugh face or a comment in the first 8 seconds and another one in the first 33 seconds, then it's going to greatly open up how many people see your posts.
Man, great info. Thanks for sharing. Oh, great. Taking notes for myself too. So I'm just sharing this with y'all in the chat box. That's awesome. So good. Well, I think, again, going back to just like the number one thing of actually having an internet presence is like, I would, like they're saying, like time block for time, make it easy and simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. The more simple the actions are, the more likely you are to go out and take action on it. The second thing that I would say is around your internet lead generation is that there really is not a more competitive website that you can just immediately get and that you already pay for. It's already in your $25 a month in Keller Williams. And so the main thing is that they have a place to go out and search. And so just taking advantage of the opportunities that you already have to have a great website that they can go out and search, and then putting it everywhere. So that's the first goal. So the next one is lead generation for traffic. And so we've kind of already gotten there around lead generation for traffic, but what have y'all learned around lead generating to increase traffic on your website? I guess I can start with this, but it's actually in the back of the chapter. It was probably one of my favorite stories, though, and it's on page 131 and 132. Whenever Gary Keller talks about taking his son fishing, and that they had some awesome fishing guides, but their favorite guide that they had was Eric. And the reason that they liked him the most is he was the most impatient. And so everybody, whenever they went out and fished with Eric, they were actually the ones that caught the most fish. And it was because as soon as he put a line in and he noticed that the fish weren't biting, he got it out and he went to another place. So he didn't spend much time where the fish weren't biting. He just continually kept moving and being impatient. And so at the end of the chapter, he says, you know, as far as lead generation, Like, make for sure that you're impatient. If something's not working, then notice it. Don't get married to it, and just keep moving. Keep moving your fish lure to something else so that you're not just stuck in one place of saying, oh, I'm going to figure out how to make this work. Like, it's okay. Just come back to it if you can, or if you want to, but go to a new place for a little while and start upping your lead generation activities to increase your activity somewhere else. So, any other thoughts? Around lead generation and traffic? Okay, I had one more idea on this thought. And again, he talks about it in the book, but I just think it's worth reiterating. Is also knowing that you're not going to beat those national websites. Like, don't even try to compete with Realtor.com and Zillow.com in Lubbock real estate, right? But really think about how you search. I mean, I can tell you all some things that I was searching just yesterday, right? About, I wanted to know my Peloton guide at what singer she danced for, right? So, like, most people, whenever they're searching for something, they're searching for something specific, and they put in a lot of words in the search box in Google. So we don't really usually use Lubbock real estate. We'll say real estate in Lake Ridge, or shallow water real estate with shallow water schools, or something like that, right? So just think about, I'm going to get into a buyer's mind frame of, okay, if I'm looking in this area, what are the long search words that I'm going to be using, so that you're not having to compete with the Zillow and the Realtor.com for Lubbock real estate. Anyway, so that was a key one that they figured out in this shift book, but I think that it's still a key concept, is really own your niche. So anybody doing that well? Or what does that make you think of as you think about owning the niche?
I think it's kind of like farming.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then maybe it was Tom Ferry, but he was talking about his online presence, and you find, you know, you are who you are, and you need to be that on your real estate page, and you need to be that on your personal page, and in all of them. But what are you going to stand for? What is going to be your message to everybody? And it's going to be this, it's going to carry over. And one of mine is the dogs, with either my fosters or my personal dogs. And so we put an offer last night on somebody that's in my foster group. So I know
That's
that
awesome.
it's farming, and yet, I mean, it's a passion of mine. So I hope it comes through.
Yeah, I love it. And it makes me think of the quote where he says, in order to get really big, you have to go really small, right? And so it seems counterintuitive that you can't own a whole market, so own a niche of it. And that will give you opportunities to build into other niches. So I love that. That's great, Jennifer. Anybody else on how do you increase activity to lead generation to your website? Okay, awesome. So the last one is now converting leads. So it's awesome to get people going to your website, and yet if you don't get their contact information and actually get to follow up with them in some kind of way, then it's actually not even a lead, and you're not doing what you are intending to do. So, man, I think that this page 130, I've heard some great debates on this, and so would love y'all's thoughts on what works the best. So on page number 130, he kind of goes over those 4 lead generation capture ideas inside of a web page. And so I kind of want you to think through this for yourself and what you think works best in real estate. But the first way is that you an upfront visitor, meaning that some websites that you go to, as soon as you get onto the website, it asks you to register in order to see more info. So some of these have like a little bit, like number 2 would be the pre-results, so that visitors can enter in some criteria that they're looking for, but in order to see the houses that would be revealed under that criteria, that now they would have to register, which is kind of like the second layer. The third layer would be that they only have a limited amount of results if they're not going to register. And then the fourth one would be, you know what, you can look at anything, you get everything on my website until you are ready to see a property, and then you can respond to me. So I'd love to know from y'all's point of view what works the best, maybe for you as a consumer, because you've seen all these different websites, right? Like all websites, Old Navy to Amazon, every single one has these different capture systems, right? So number 1 being as soon as you get on there, you're going to need to register, to number 4, only when you're ready to transact do you need to register. So we'd love to know from y'all's perspective what works best for you as a consumer first, and then second, what works best that you've seen in real estate. Anybody have thoughts?
I think for me, like if I have to register for something immediately, I'm probably out. And especially in the world of like, if this information is available somewhere else, then I'm not going to be like, just jump on right away and start giving out my info. But I do think if it's like content, and it's really about the content, like, is this something I want to regularly be updated on because it's good and valuable? Then yeah, I'm gonna give my information at that point. But it has to prove it to me first before I do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Jennifer Hedman said as a consumer, number 3. So limited information, whenever she's getting limited information, then she is okay with going ahead and registering them. And then on your personal site, tier 2. Okay. Andrea says as a consumer 4, so only when you're ready to transact business, and then a personal site of 3. So, okay, great. I think that it was really interesting too to think about as you're thinking about different options for your personal website. You will get more leads if you let everybody see everything, right? You will get, you will get more registration. So people will be forced to register. You will get more leads if they have to put in the information immediately. But you also are going to have to go through a lot more people in order to get the appointment, right? Because really the appointments, whenever they're ready to transact to the business, and that's when they're reaching out to you, you're going to get probably fewer leads necessarily, but they're going to be higher quality of leads. And so you have to think about, what's my lead generation strategy, and do I have the ability to leverage getting in touch with people? So any other thoughts as a consumer or as an agent?
I would
Again,
love,
for me, yeah.
I would love to hear how people have their websites set up. I actually had a comment on our, we do a lot of like Facebook posts, and it leads them back to our website. They can look at a few pictures and then they have to register. And, you know, occasionally you get this comment like, why do I have to register? I probably won't. And it actually got that comment this morning. You know, on our side of things, I mean, if we just always give the information, we never capture theirs, you probably will never convert them to a true lead or appointment. But I would love to hear what other people are doing on your websites. Are you letting them look at a few things, or what number are you finding success with, I guess, is kind of what I'd like to hear.
Stacy, even with yours, do you get good information? Like
Yeah,
once
we
they-
do actually. We use Boomtown, and the way people log in is with their phone number. So I mean, we probably have 300 to 400 people a month that register with their phone number.
Awesome.
I mean, so it seems to be working. And we convert, we convert several a month from that, I think. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers, but it seems to be successful. But I'd love to hear what other people are doing and what you're finding success with, if that's a different number, or kind of made me think a little bit more about that this morning, that maybe we need to change that.
Stacy, does your Boomtown account, does it show what website they came from? Like how they found you?
Yes, it does.
Anybody have different things that they're doing? I don't know if they just don't know what they're doing. So hard with Zoom. People muted.
Refill their coffee right then.
Are people frozen or? Stacey, I think about this all the time, and I'm like, I would say, man, if you are a single agent, I would say only have them register once they are ready for an appointment. Because, like, for a lot of people, 400 leads, that is unobtainable to try to, like, you're going to be sifting through so much information and people and phone calls and all the things that it would be just unobtainable to actually even find out the good ones, right? Like I feel like it's like gold mining. You're having to sift through all of those things. So if you don't have a team of people that's going to help you do that, then 400 would just be overwhelming. So, and at the same time, I would say, my question would be, how often do those people get followed up with? Like, even with the amount of team members y'all have, is if they're not getting followed up with in a consistent manner, it is, okay, maybe we need less leads that are maybe more ready for an appointment. And then I also think about, just my own personal, like I kind of think about like Michael Hyatt or Donald Miller. These are people that I like follow, and I've went to their website at one point, Mike McAllowitz. And it was usually whenever they were giving me great content of something that I really wanted to know, that I was signing up and willing to like put my email and everything in there. And so, and a few of them too have gotten me on, additional deals, like even with John Maxwell, right? Anyway, so I kind of think about as me as the consumer of engaging with somebody, if I wasn't able to go on their website and at least see a few things, then I probably would just go back off and Google it and find the website that I wouldn't have to register. But really what gets me is whenever there is great content, like something that somebody could provide that no one else would provide, that as soon as you like register in order to get this, right? So these quick offers that I think are side offers, they're not ready to transact business with you today, but they are side offers where you can start getting into a relationship and be that source of information for people. So any other thoughts? Love to hear. You have different ideas on that.
Karen,
Yeah.
as I was sitting here listening to Stacy and listening to you, and then you talked first about other websites and like Amazon and things like that. I agree with you on, you let people search and search and search, and you can do that on Amazon and nobody cares. But that's who I go to because it's simple and I don't have to make a commitment. And once I do want to make a commitment, that's exactly who I'm going to go to because they've given me something to, they're letting me do this for free. And so I think there's a lot to think about there about let people go on the website and let them search as much as they need to. Because I think you're right. I think they'll just jump off and go to another website. A lot of them will, a lot of them won't. We've had such success with it that that's a hard concept for me to wrap my head around totally. But at the same time, I think we're giving them something of value by allowing them to do that, and I think they're going to remember that and possibly come back. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and I would agree. And the other thing I think about is specifically with y'all's marketing, I've seen it and with others, is if you're giving an address and you're having them immediately register, I think you're immediately going to lose them, because it's so stinking easy to just put the address in the Google search, and then it's going to pull up the Zillow and the Realtor.com, and they get all the information, right? If you're not giving them an address, then it's a little bit harder, and they're going to have to say, oh, I wanted to see that house though, and I don't know what address it is, right? Anyway, so I think that it's a little bit easier to maybe get them to register earlier. But yeah, my thought is, if you have an address on an advertising and you're asking them to go into your website and immediately register, you're losing them immediately to Zillow or Realtor.com.
Yeah, I don't think we do. Like, we usually put up some kind of post on our social media, just some pictures, teaser ad, and then it, if they want to click on it. I mean, they're the ones who click for more info. So, sometimes that leads to a registration. I'm sure a lot of times it doesn't. But yeah, it doesn't have all the info on the post.
Yeah, and I love that. I also think it's important to sometimes not include the price too, right? Like, don't include the price or the address, just to open yourself if you're trying to get more leads from it. Now, I will also say too, though, believe me, the same comments that Stacey is getting, we get them then put back on Keller Williams' page of, why do you let agents advertise and not put the price or the address? Like, that should be not kosher. So it's like, yeah, man.
One thing that the MAPS coach has talked to us about as far as advertising on Facebook and try to capture leads is delay and do like a week long essentially post. Like, do one post with like the coming soon, and maybe within the next post with pictures, and the next post with like price and location, and then like another post about like amenities or something like that. That way you're constantly staying relevant to your Facebook, rather than just giving them all information at once and they're continuously just like looking, oh, she posted an update. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily maybe checking your Facebook, figuring out when you're going to do it, but they see it on their feed and they see that you posted an update. And so that's kind of one of the things that she talked about, is just constantly staying relevant and posting information that the consumers want.
That's really great. Really great. Okay, awesome. Anything else that y'all heard that you wanted to cover or ask questions around? Okay. Well, I guess we'll end with on page number 133. I love that he just says technology and internet are no longer a choice. I think that we all know that right now, right? But it's no longer a choice. So the question is, do you move from simply communicating or to effectively lead generating? In a shift, we don't think you have a choice. You must make your technology earn its keep. And I think that more than anything, my hope is that it just makes you think about, okay, how could I innovate and keep trying? And just like the fisherman, if something's not working, then go to the next thing, try something else. Be impatient with your lead generation efforts on internet, because it will give you immediate feedback. And so you can be impatient with that. So, okay, cool. Well, thanks so much for being on, and look forward to seeing y'all at team meeting. So next week, we're going to cover tactic number 7, price ahead of the market, seller pricing strategies. And that will be extremely interesting, especially as I'm going to share some information around what's going on with just the first half of April with the Lubbock market numbers. So make for sure to be on team meeting, and then we'll cover tactic number 7 next week. So thanks so much for being here. Have an awesome rest of your day. See ya.